So recently, I was walking my dog outside and I saw another dog with another human. And usually, my dog does not go to those people or dogs that are on a leash and that obviously do not like it when my dog would go there. But the thing is, because I've woken up that day by a disruptor, by another person that has done certain things, and therefore that has stopped my flow of sleep, or basically disrupted my expectation of my morning routine being the same or being as relaxed as always, but it wasn't. And because that wasn't the case, I kind of felt the feeling of dissonance, which could be considered fear. And so I set myself, as in the infinite awareness that I am, up for an experience in the beginning of the day that is of that like. So that means because in the beginning of the day, I tune myself into an experience that is representative of the feeling of dissonance that I felt when I woke up by another person that was distracting my peace or my sleep. So I go out, I see those people or that pupil with his dog, and I instantly think to myself, a thought pops up that speaks of Kita, my dog, will go there and disrupt their peace. Kind of essentially like my peace has been disrupted. And this is only because I was focusing on that state of being, because I started my day on that state of being, and not very long before I was actually experiencing that feeling, before going outside, I mean. But she didn't. She didn't go there. She didn't disrupt anything. Of course not, because I know my dog. This is one of the great examples how stupid or let's say stupid the ideas are or nonsensical that pop up from a state of dissonance. By that I mean I know my dog, right? I know that I can go with her without a leash. I know that she doesn't disturb anyone, and she also listens to me at word. So I need not really do anything or worry about anything. And yet, still, because I started the day in that state of being, and that is basically the modus operandi that I am in throughout at least these first hours of the day, still those thoughts that are the opposite of the truth pop up, and still those thoughts resonate with me on some level, and therefore still they had an effect. So I reacted instead of answering like I usually give my best to do. So I further perpetuated that feeling of dissonance or the state of being of dissonance. Not even a few minutes, a few seconds later, Kita suddenly walks on on the sidewalk where people walk, and she goes almost to the middle to take a huge dump, right? And usually she doesn't do that. But it also doesn't surprise me because now with the beginning of the day and with my reaction to Kita and those people or pupil and his dog that she was walking by, I basically put myself into a experience that allows me to perceive exactly that state of being that is of this dissonance and with which I have started the day. So it doesn't surprise me that she now suddenly does things, or at least it seems so, that is not usually what she does. So regardless, she went to the sidewalk where people walk and went almost to the middle and took a huge dump. And at first it kind of annoyed me because now I was sleepy, right? It was very it was quite early in the morning, and I still have to go pick it up, right? And people are maybe disturbed by that. All these things have come up within my consciousness, but that is okay, of course. And yet, at that moment when she did that, I understood that everything is just a chain reaction to my allowing myself to abide in a state of dissonance and actually react out of that state and therefore further propelling that state, perpetuating that state, instead of simply breathing through it, allowing it to be, trusting it, embracing it. In other words, transmuting it into pure existence, pure being, therefore neutrality, therefore peace, therefore all that is good, holy, and beautiful. So that was a very important thing. Now, of course, I felt that, and exactly as I said at that moment, I woke up to that. That is, it's all just a chain reaction. And from that moment on, even though I felt kind of anger and frustration, and basically I was annoyed because I now need to pick that shit up in the most literal sense, I still allowed myself to just feel it, be with it, just like a father or mother is with the child that is at the moment emotionally or in feeling kind of disturbed, simply to be with it, right? To give that one thought or idea or manifestation of oneself the gift of presence, pure and neutral being. And more things came into my mind, which I'm not able to pinpoint at in this very moment, because it doesn't really pop up within my consciousness now as I'm speaking about it, which means that it is not so necessary. But the main point that I allowed myself to understand is the importance, once again, of how great it is of a decision to answer to things with the peace or with the energy that you actually want to perceive or experience, instead of reacting with the same energy. Just like the words say, reacting the same energy out that you have been given. It makes all the difference in the world. And after that beginning of the day, I think a few more things have popped up. I also came into a little bit of an argument with someone, which wasn't, of course, that great, and is not really my kind of behavior that I usually put on the day, right? So it was a strange experience, and yet it was a very refreshing experience because things are working out very well for me. I'm very happy, and things are beautiful beyond comprehension, and they are exponentially getting every time. They are exponentially getting better and better every single day. So it was kind of refreshing to experience this thing once again, especially because if you think about it, there is nothing very bad about it. Now, in truth, there is no good and bad, but that one thing or these things, this beginning of the day, is not something that would generally be considered to be something very bad. It would maybe be considered to be kind of a little bit annoying or disruptive to the usual flow of one's being, but then again, it is not. Maybe it is temporarily, but this one temporary disruption leads, or is rather a catalyst, or leads to a greater sense of understanding of oneself and the reality that one experiences, and therefore it impregnates the mind with another way of being, or further strengthens the way of being that has been acquired and lived in as before. That is of peace. So I hope you get my point. Basically, just try to take a few deep breaths and answer instead of reacting. But then again, do not beat yourself up when you are not reacting or answering, rather in the way that you wish to, or in the way that you are used to, right? Sometimes I catch myself saying things that are not like myself usually. And then I suddenly realize after saying those things, why the fuck did I say that? So I'm trying not to cuss in my videos, but what the F did I say? Why did I say it? Right? These are the kind of things that I ask myself, but I do not judge myself. It is all about becoming aware of one's behavior, especially of those subconscious behaviors, the things that we do subconsciously. And then by realizing what we do and contemplating maybe how it makes us feel and in what direction it pushes us, that we then are able to simply change. Because once you're aware of something, it is not subconscious anymore, but conscious. And then it is in your hands to change it, because you have the steering wheel in your hands as the focal point for the infinite experience that you are. In that sense, have a wonderful day. It was a beautiful pleasure once again to speak to all of you. If you have any questions or if you have any suggestions of what you would like me to speak about, feel free to comment, feel free to contact. Whoa. Feel free to contact me. And in this sense, I wish you the most beautiful day of your entire existence.